said all along, Aaron Rodgers has every right to be upset with the Packers for how they handled this. Every right. Even though I still don't buy the whole people, persons, paper people routine from Aaron Rodgers, and I'm surprised Alex Smith does. He knows how the business is. He knows how it goes. But Aaron Rodgers believed that he had transcended the usual treatment that the guy at the bottom of the roster gets.
That's right.
After what he's done for the team, how he's professed repeatedly that he wants to stay, and then they do this to him without the courtesy of a phone call and clearly set in motion a plan to supplant him with Jordan Love, a plan into which he threw a wrench by being the league MVP, and I suspect they hoped that would be the reaction. The problem is now they can't trade him. How can you trade the reigning MVP? And it's got to play out for one more year. But I agree with a lot of what Alex Smith said,
Definitely.
And he's in a position to know what the feeling would be, and he got the phone call. That's the key.
Right. That's the key. That is the key. Honestly, I think it, really is a little extra powerful when a guy like Alex Smith kind of says what he says, though, because he's not the kind of guy to make a real blanket headline statement like that. So that shows you how it jumps out to him. One, I think he's saying it right. I get what you're saying, Mike, the whole people thing, all of that. I think we know the analogy he was trying to make, even though it was a little weird or awkward or all that. But that's
I don't know the analogy he was trying to make. I think he's just pandering to the fans. Trying to get them on his side.
I think either way, he's trying to tell you that he feels personally disrespected, that he was one of the people, the very important people, if not the most important person, and he felt like, how do you do this to me? Don't even tell me. No idea. And, Alex Smith there, he knows, he goes, well, I know I'm not the player Aaron Rodgers is, and my organization even told me. So that he's looking at that going crazy, let alone I think most quarterbacks around football also look at it and go, it's inexcusable. And I say that because I think most quarterbacks in football look at Aaron Rodgers and think he's a lot better than maybe the public even thinks that he is. That they look at him like, holy cow, how do you do that to that guy? The guy that's like unbelievable, unstoppable, and all of that. And that's where I think Alex Smith's statement has some power behind it.
I have a thought that I want to run by you, because Alex Smith said he was told multiple times what the Chiefs planned to do. There were no surprises. It was absolutely laid out for me.
Right.
And I think that all helps when it's communicated. It does make a difference how you treat people. Here's my question.
Yeah.
Because the Chiefs clearly trusted Alex Smith to keep his mouth shut about what they were planning to do, something that no one knew they were planning to do. And there was a small handful of coaches out there that wanted Patrick Mahomes, including the coach whose team picked at number 11, the New Orleans Saints. And lo and behold, the Chiefs cut the line in front of Sean Payton.
Right.
If someone had known what the Chiefs were thinking about doing, everything potentially changes. And, oh, hey, look at this. There's no one to supplant me. I say all that because could the explanation be as simple as this? The Packers didn't trust Aaron Rodgers with that knowledge.
Could
because he'd sabotage.
Maybe
he'd make sure someone knew the Packers want Jordan Love to try to keep them from getting Jordan Love.
Yeah,
do you think that may be? And if Mark Murphy, Brian Gutekunst were forced to tell the truth, why didn't you do it? Are you just completely inconsiderate? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Do you just have no respect for Aaron Rodgers? Or were you afraid Aaron Rodgers was going to hatch a plan and implement that plan to make sure someone else knew about it so they'd get Jordan Love instead?
Yeah, listen, it's an interesting thought. I don't think it's like a crazy thought by any stretch of the imagination, too. Maybe that is, part of what their strategic, approach was to this. Usually with a decision like that, right, you and I both know it's like few people in the organization go, listen, from all accounts, it doesn't sound like Matt LaFleur had any idea they were going to draft Jordan Love. He didn't know. So you're down to, we're talking about with these type of decisions, 2 or 3 people within an organization that know actually what's going to be done. So you can tell the quarterback and figure out if it does get out publicly, who it came from. That would be an easy find. So that would be the risk you're playing as a player to do that type of thing. There's no doubt. And listen,
what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Cut him?
I know you're right. It's not going to cut him.
Aaron, did you tell anyone? I didn't tell anyone.
Right.
I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
No, they're not going to do anything other than, it's going to ruin the relationship, I would guess, right? They're going to look at him like, what the hell?
Already
it's
ruined
already. I know.
Same place.
I know.
Different path.
But also, within that, why I don't think the player would do that really either is they're going to tell people. Those people are going to tell people to then where Aaron Rodgers is going to look like a real jerk because it's going to get out, and now it's going to be like, whoa, Aaron Rodgers tried to sabotage the first-round pick and all of those type of things. That's where I would have a hard time believing the player would do that, I guess.
Not if the player is smart,
right?
Does it discreetly,
right,
and has a plan. You can do it in a way where there's no fingerprints.
Sure.
He's represented by David Dunn. He can get the word out through Athletes First. You can get the word out that they're. But now it makes it a little awkward because Athletes First also represents Jordan Love. But that's beside the point. I'm just wondering, when I look at what Alex Smith had to say and the idea that the Chiefs did trust him with the most sensitive of information, that gesture alone shows how much respect they have for him. When you are someone who is trusted with highly sensitive information, that there is in that gesture a message that you are someone who is important. You are someone who is part of the inner circle. You are someone who is being trusted. And you become less likely to violate that trust when you understand you're being entrusted with such important information.
That's right.
And they didn't trust Aaron Rodgers with that information, which makes it even more of a slap in the face. It's not just, hey, we didn't tell Aaron Rodgers what was coming. At a deeper level, we didn't trust you to have that information. And that's another reason why he may be upset. And that's why he's saying it's about the people. And the front office of football teams will, from time to time, if not all the time, treat players like commodities.
Sure.
And there's a line to that. And there are certain players who shouldn't be treated like commodities. Right. And Aaron Rodgers should not be treated like a commodity. And I think that's really his message. He was treated like a commodity by the front office, and they wouldn't even trust him with the knowledge that they were going to make this move or even give him the courtesy of the heads up and explain to him why they were doing what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Mike, I don't think, maybe you're onto something. Maybe that is part of it. I mean, do you know this, or are you just theorizing, like a theory here?
No,
okay,
no,
all right.
This is all happening as we speak.
Well,
this is one of the benefits of not preparing. You just sit down and you let it flow. And as I look at those words, the light bulb went off. They trusted Alex Smith in Kansas City. They didn't trust Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue there. I don't know that. I think that's still speculative, either way.
Who's going to admit to it? Wait a minute.
You're right. No one is going to admit to it.
Let's call the Packers now, Shannon Sharp. No one's going to admit.
I know, but it's also I get it.
Didn't trust Aaron Rodgers. It's all implied by the facts. It's circumstantial evidence.
I know
of what they actually believe.
Right. I get that. I know we're never going to know. It would be a good excuse for them to say that if it's a good the situation they're in is a debacle. That's a nice thing for them to be able to say. Well, we didn't really trust him. Oh, okay, all right. And listen,
do you think that would make it better?
I don't think it would make it much better. No. The fact that what?
And it's not going to make it much worse.
No.
It's definitely not going to make it any better.
No, it's not going to make it much better. And here, listen, I'll say this too. Like, again, you said it. Players are commodities in the NFL. They don't have to tell Aaron Rodgers what they're doing in the draft and those type of things. They don't. I don't know. I don't know. Did Tom Brady get a call that the Patriots are going to draft Jimmy Garoppolo and all of that? I don't know. But see, here's the difference, though. New England, that's always the business. That's the way they go. It's team, and Belichick's king. And that's not the way it's set up in Green Bay. We know that. It's a little different that way, where the quarterback is part of the king, the hierarchy there in Green Bay. Has been for a while. That's been part of it. So that's where I also think it's a little different maybe than other organizations as well, because they put so much weight into one guy all the time. that's where I think he gets into the people, the foundation, and all those things, whether they lied to him, didn't trust him, didn't tell him. And either way, they're all wrong to do to the guy who we know has carried your organization for the past, 11 or 12 years.
Well, and I think we're touching on a deeper issue in an organization without an owner.
That's it.
Aaron Rodgers is the highest paid and most important employee of the corporation. And I think it's always awkward when the people who are making the decisions about the most important and highest paid in a corporation are making less and far less important than the person about whom the decisions are being made.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense at all? There's no way Mark Murphy's making more than Aaron Rodgers. There's no way Brian Gutekunst is even within $30 million of what Aaron Rodgers is making. Yet these are the guys who are making the decisions about one of the great football players of all time. There's something awkward in all of that when you don't have an owner who clearly becomes the most important and highest paid person in any football organization.
Right. Like it's different than New England, right? You got Mr. Kraft, and then you got Bill, where who knows what he's making. We know he's the highest paid.
But he's not making
No, he's not making Brady
40.
or 30 or 40.
He should.
But the combination of those two set a hierarchy of going like, hey, it's Kraft, and then it's Belichick just right under him, and then here's the quarterback and the players and all of that. And I think that's the hierarchy that, we look at to be the most successful, to make the most sense. Seems to be the one that avoids situations like this maybe the most. That's where it gets back to the owner thing you bring up so much that, I think there's real weight behind that and some of these points.
And you can't help but wonder when you start delving into these dynamics, is there an unspoken and possibly a subconscious resentment of Aaron Rodgers, and have they had enough?
Yeah,
and he makes these little comments from time to time, and he's
Right.
always doing these passive-aggressive things. And wouldn't we all be better off long-term if we just had another quarterback? Things that may not even have to be spoken out loud. It just becomes understood between Murphy and Gutekunst. Man, this is just a pain in the ass. How much is our life going to change if we have to? At some point, we got to get a new quarterback anyway. Why don't we just go ahead and do it? It's fascinating to me. It's almost Shakespearean when you consider all the personalities and forces at play here. And, hey, if they were trying, if their goal was to completely obliterate the relationship with Aaron Rodgers, bravo, you did it. Now, if you weren't trying, shame on you. But if you were trying to do it, it's as impressive a feat of a destruction of a relationship between a football front office and a player as I've ever seen. Chris.
You're right. It is. It's up there with any I can remember, certainly with this caliber of player. I don't know. You'd maybe remember, you remember some back in the old days, but I can't remember like a star. I wasn't trying to be funny there. I was being serious.
Okay.
Like maybe in the 70s or something. I was not trying to be funny. I was being totally
back in
serious.
the old days.
Well, the old days.
Back before electricity.
Like back before I was capable of knowing and remembering everything about football and the media. That's all I was talking about, okay? Don't get all sensitive on me, all right? That's all I was talking about. But, yeah, I'm with you. It's weird there. Also, I agree with you that, hey, Aaron Rodgers, as much as I love him, and I'm biased, and I think he's the man, I certainly can see how he could wear on people in an organization. I'm not that blind to it or blinded by his greatness and all of that. Yeah, he's a pain in the butt.
He wears on people who aren't in the organization.
That's what I mean. He's a pain in the butt. He is. He's obviously kind of an eccentric thinker and very deep that way. And, hey, maybe a little bit sensitive about what's said to him. And, yeah, you're right. There's been a lot of things there that have been said that are cryptic-like, that they're probably like, oh, man, he's a handful. Man, the McCarthy thing. Man, LaFleur, we hire him, and now we got to talk about the audibles and do all that. Oh, it's I could see them being like, man, every year it's something. I do get that. But that's the price of, like, greatness most of the time. Like, really, what great players weren't a pain in the butt? Michael Jordan was a pain in the butt for the Bulls in the end of the 90s. A lot of these great players were throughout their history. Kind of what makes them great in a lot of ways. And then, of course, like we talk about, they get a little power from the organization, and it can kind of funnel out of control sometimes too.
And this example is an extreme one, but I thought of Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh because they tolerated him until they got to the point where they thought he's getting close to the end of his God-given physical ability to the point where it's worth tolerating. And I think that's what happened with the Packers. If Aaron Rodgers is 27 and
dominant,
stuff's happening
carry
with
the
McCarthy
team, right.
and then you deal with it.
Right.
But the train is getting close to the station anyway. And Chris, you said it yourself. You saw some slippage in 2019, even though they went 13-3 and made it to the NFC Championship. And look, Bill Belichick, what's he best known for when it comes to separating from players?
Sure.
Doing it a year early instead of a year too late. And look, the way it all happened, it convinced Aaron Rodgers they had a plan, and the plan consisted of throwing him overboard after the 2020 season. He believed that and still believes that and believes the only thing that saved him was his MVP season, which means that they're now waiting. They're going to throw him overboard after 2021 if he doesn't have another MVP season, and he's trying to short-circuit that process. That's it. It's that's simple.
Yep.
That's the conclusion he's reached. And he's the one who's in a far better position to reach that conclusion than anyone on the outside.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, and a lot, even us on the outside, you could certainly make sense of the conclusion he might have made out of this whole thing. But, again, I think that's where it really comes back to. You laid it out perfectly, but yet this guy wasn't, yes, I saw that slippage, but it still was, we're talking slippage from being absolutely the man at number one to now, whoa, Mahomes is, he's passed you by, and Russell Wilson's getting a little, still, we're talking slippage of he went to the top 3 or the top 5, right? It's that way, too. Right. And that's where the fine line of this dance has, gotten the Green Bay Packers in trouble with Rodgers a little bit, too, here.
Yeah, look, I think we're on the same page, and I think that we've handled the topic as well as we possibly can. Not that we've done it incredibly well, just as well as we individually, based on our own abilities, can do it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.